Looks like I'm the only one who's dressed casual, though. That's the problem.
You should have seen me put all these books up in my living room just now. To
I thought maybe that we could just the pull down behind you.
All right, Judge, I believe you have everyone on finally,
All right.
and we're all a year older.
Okay. All right. Yes, let's get on the record. All right. The first matter that I'll hear is State of New Jersey against Liridon Nuruddini. There are 5 sequentially numbered accusations: 1701, 49. Well, actually, no, they're not sequentially numbered. 49A, 51A, 52A, 53A, and 54A. Mr. Nuruddini is in custody, having been arrested on a bench warrant issued by a drug court. And is appearing via a video link from the Morris County Jail, as is everyone else today. There was no one in the courtroom other than the court staff. So let's begin with the appearances of counsel. Mr. Overgaard. Mr. Overgaard, can you hear me? We can't hear him. Check your mute button. You may have to unmute yourself. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Judge. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Now I can hear you. All right, would you enter your appearance?
Shane Overgaard on behalf of the state. Good afternoon.
Mark Chegwin from the probation department.
Okay.
John Paul Velez, 4-star Bori Velez on behalf of Liridon Nuruddini, who's appearing via video conference.
Okay. Mr. Chegwin, would you fill me in on the background? I should also add that I requested information from the drug court team earlier this morning, and I did receive some information, so I'll go over that later. But why don't I first hear from Mr. Chegwin?
Judge, I'll be probably reading from the same email memorandum that you received from the supervising officer, Ms. Wallace. It appears the defendant was taken into custody at Real House by the Morris County Warrant Squad and transported to the Morris County Jail. He was unsuccessfully discharged from that program based on his use of oxycodone and Suboxone while he was a resident there. It was suspected that he was manipulating his urine when he was asked to provide urine screens. For example, the urines were either too cold or too hot. And then was confirmed by staff after the defendant had left the program. When they were packing up his belongings, bottles of urine were located. At this point, the treatment program is recommending a higher level of care. And just based on what the supervising officer has found this morning, it appears that the court is scheduled for tomorrow before Judge Hubner. And probation is recommending that the defendant be remanded until that time.
All right, thank you. And that's Mr. Overgaard, that's your office's recommendation as well?
Yes, Judge. The state's requesting the defendant be remanded. My understanding after speaking with Assistant Prosecutor Julian Hill is that this was given a date a few weeks out. However, they are trying to get it heard sooner, possibly next week through some type of conference such as this.
All right. Is there, Mr. Chegwin, did you say that it might be heard tomorrow?
That's what the initial, according to our calendar, Judge, it does say Judge Hubner review hearing to be determined. The 3/19 date was just, actually it's today. That's.
If I may, Your Honor, not to cut off Mr. Chegwin.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Vallis.
I was in communication with the drug court team since yesterday regarding this matter. I spoke to Ms. Chavez, which is one of the court officials in Judge Hanna's courtroom with drug court. She indicated to me that right now they were going to schedule it for a status date before Judge Hubner on April 7th, Your Honor.
Okay.
If something could be made available prior to that, based upon their receipt of a recommendation for the level of care, they would bring them in sooner. But that was my understanding, is that at least the control date would be for April 7th.
All right. Yeah, I received the same report from Gabby Chavez, or actually from Ms. Wallace, which was forwarded to me by Ms. Chavez. But so I am inclined to remand the defendant. I will contact Judge Hubner's, probably him directly, and/or his staff, and see if the matter can be heard tomorrow. I am fairly certain, based on the report that I got, that if an inpatient program is located for the defendant, that either I or Judge Hubner will be happy to sign a transport order to get him there. All right, but other than that, we'll remand him. We will input the control date of April 7th into the system. But as I say, I will do my best to talk to Judge Hubner, or failing that, to his staff, to get that expedited. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
Anything
Judge.
else? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All right. The next matter then is a waiver of extradition matter, and the subject is Ashley Toralbus Dennison. All right, Ms. Toralbus, are you there?
Hi, Your Honor. Yes, I am.
Okay, and Ms., well, let's have the appearances of counsel, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Shane Overgaard on behalf of the state.
Good afternoon, Judge Caroline Kelby on behalf of Ms. Toralbus Dennison.
All right, and before we were on the record, I told Ms. Kelby that I had already received a signed waiver of extradition form dated yesterday by Ms. Toralbus Dennison. And then, Ms. Kelby, you indicated that you had some additional information, and I asked you to just wait until we had everybody. So now, why don't you tell me what that additional information is?
Yes, thank you, Judge. I received information from my colleague Maureen Miller yesterday that Ms. Toralbus Dennison did wish to waive her right to an extradition hearing. However, Ms. Miller reached out to me today and let me know that Ms. Toralbus Dennison is wishing to withdraw her waiver of extradition and instead have a hearing.
Okay, and what is the disputed issue? Is that she's not wanted in New York?
Judge, I don't have that information. All I have at this point is the information that she's seeking to withdraw her waiver. I'm not sure the exact basis at this point. I was going through Ms. Miller, and this was just very new and updated information, so I apologize for not having that at this point.
Okay. In general, I would say certainly she has the right to a hearing, but there's really only two issues. One, is she in fact wanted in the state of New York? And two, is she the right person? In other words, is she the same Ashley Toralbus Dennison who's wanted in New York? So,
right.
Mr. Overgaard, do you have? Are you ready to go on that?
Judge, my understanding is that this is new to me. I was under the belief that she was going to be consenting to the waiver today. This is at least the third or fourth time that we've been to court on this matter. Judge Ironson set a control date, I believe in June, because the state was in the process of obtaining a governor's warrant, which takes up to 90 days, and that triggers the process of the extradition hearing, so to speak. So I can continue to do that with my office and let them know. However, this was, I was under the understanding that it was going to be a waiver today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was too, but all right, let me do this. So the process of obtaining the governor's warrant is already underway. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Overgaard?
Judge, the last time I spoke to my fugitive unit about it, and this was before the pandemic really hit when we were still in the office, is I told them that Ms. Dennison was not consenting and that they were in the process of beginning the governor's warrant process. Now, I can double check on that today as soon as we end this virtual session, but I do believe it is currently underway.
All right, and can I ask Madam Clerk to check and see, is there a control date in the system?
It's June 8th.
All right, so yes, in fact, there is a June 8th control date. So I guess we'll just use that date then. All right, but let me just question Ms. Torralbas Dennison to make sure, is that, you do not want to consent to extradition?
I don't. I was told that I had to sign that form when they came to my cell yesterday and that I wasn't given a choice at all. I had said that I wasn't comfortable with it. I found out there's over 900 cases of coronavirus in New York. I was going to sign. I'm really uncomfortable going there.
Okay.
I know that I could be forced, but I don't want to go.
All right. All right. Well, again, the any sheriff or commissioner of corrections or whoever has custody of a prisoner does have a duty to safeguard them. It's not, well, I don't want to prejudge anything, but the issues at an extradition hearing, again, as I said, there's two of them. One is the person in fact wanted in the other state, and two is it the right person? So it does not appear that Ms. Dennison is contesting either one of those things, but I guess we'll schedule the hearing. It's already been scheduled for June 8th.
Judge,
Right.
if I get any information that we can move that up, or if the warrant has been obtained earlier, I'll be sure to let the court know. I know that was set by Judge Ironson as a 90-day control date to make sure that the process is in fact going through. And I will double check this afternoon to make sure it is. I can send an email to your team leader if you want.
All right. Ms. Kelbel, basically your client, it sounds like she's just much more comfortable being held here in a New Jersey jail than in a New York jail. So in other words, she's consenting to staying here in jail at least until June 8th, or unless the process, the warrant is issued before that.
Judge, yes, and I will say that I haven't gotten the chance to speak with Ms. Torralbas Dennison further to explore other issues that may be, going on here. But at this point, I'd just be looking for the governor's warrant and to proceed in the way that traditionally goes along with the hearing. So yeah, I guess we'll just keep the date for now of June 8th.
I mean, the other thing, and again, I actually never had a contested extradition hearing, but I'm not sure that we couldn't hold the hearing on the two issues. I could make my findings, and then the actual extradition would still have to await, as I understand it, the issuance of the governor's warrant.
Judge, after speaking with my office, my understanding is that and I haven't done one of these personally myself, is that when a defendant does contest extradition, the mechanism by which to move everything forward is obtaining that governor's warrant. With the current state of affairs, not only here, but also in New York right now, I don't know how long that process is going to take, but I do know we have, I believe, 90 days to obtain that. And then once that we have that warrant, the hearing can move forward.
Okay. Ms. Kelbel, do you know any differently?
No, Judge, that's my understanding as well. I would just ask, what was the previous court date with Judge Ironson, since I don't have a file on this matter?
I believe it was, you might be able to look on Promise Gavel, but it was, I want to say almost 2 weeks ago now, if not sooner.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
I'm going to have Madam, let me just check. Madam Clerk, I think there were, I was told informally that there have already been a few proceedings on this.
Yes, Judge, this is, I believe, my third or fourth time appearing on this matter.
All right. So do you have the dates there, Kat?
Of
The prior proceedings?
it's not in Promise Gavel, but I know that it was the 11th
was the last one, and the first one was the 24th or the 26th
Of
of February.
February, all right.
Yeah.
So,
So she's been since the 26th.
Madam Clerk was clerking, I guess, for Judge Ironson for the two of the prior ones. One apparently was, I guess, on the 11th of this month. And the other one was either the 24th, 25th, 26th, somewhere in that range in February.
That sounds
Okay.
right, Judge. And just so you're aware, the procedural history of this, so to speak, is that initially the defendant wished to stay because there were some outstanding municipal matters that she wanted to attend to before she went back to the state of New York. So Judge Ironson voir dired her with Ms. Miller, and then it was adjourned on her consent until that March 11th, I believe you said, date. At that time, the defendant still had not resolved those municipal matters, and she had requested to go through the governor's warrant process. She was contesting extradition. The one thing that I said at the time, and I'll say it again today just so that the defendant understands, is that when you do contest detention such as this, all the jail credit she is accruing here in the state of New Jersey will not be counted towards any potential sentence in New York moving forward. Just so she's aware of that.
Damn.
All right. All right, Ms. Kelbel, do you want to add anything?
No, Judge. I think that's it.
All right. I just want to make sure, Ms. Terrell-Dennison, you are aware that none of this time is going to count against any sentence you might receive in the state of New York?
I understand that, Your Honor.
All right. And what is the status of the municipal matters? Have they been resolved?
No, they have not. Everything is at a halt now because of the coronavirus. That's why I had considered again signing, but it's just very scary to go to New York with the state of everything.
All right. I certainly understand your concern. You do have the right to the full extradition process. It is underway, and I think what I would instruct, I guess you, Mr. Overgaard, is as soon as you have the governor's warrant, let court staff know, and we'll schedule the hearing before, one of the judges. Okay?
Understood, Judge. And as soon as we're done with this virtual hearing, I will send an email to my fugitive team just to make sure that that process is still currently underway. With everything that's going on right now, I don't know how quickly we can get it, but as soon as we do have it, I will be prepared to move forward.
Okay, yeah, just that would be helpful just to confirm that the process is in fact underway.
Understood.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. So Ms. Terrell-Dennison will remain in jail, remanded, and we have the control date in place. And if the warrant is issued any sooner, we'll get it on the calendar as soon as we can.
Thank you, Your
Great.
Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you all. All right.
There are some vacated warrants that I think Shane wants to do.
Say again?
There are some warrants that Shane wants.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Overgaard, we probably shouldn't have cut him off.
Judge,
Sorry
I'm
about
still
that.
here.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, apparently Mr. Overgaard has some bench warrant applications.
Yes, and I was going to say something, and I just didn't quick enough. So yeah, there's 2 bench warrants, I guess, that were consented to be lifted yesterday. So I guess
Okay.
I just need to put those on the record.
Okay, yeah. Can we get Mr. Overgaard back on somehow? Do you think? Or
You can email him and ask him to sign back in.
even by phone?
Oh, I think I have his cell phone number.
No, I have it right here.
Oh, you've got it?
Yeah, I have it right here.
All right, we'll see if we can get him, we'll just send him another invitation, I guess.
Well, I'm just gonna call him and tell him I think he can click back on it, because the meeting's still open.
That's true, yeah. All right. In fact,
Of course, look up
I can call him from that phone.
I have
415.
973-445.
What?
445
Oh my God.
2214.
I'm gonna kill him.
973-445-2214.
You want me to call him?
Or do you want him just to appear by phone?
Yeah, well, I can tell him to sign in too if you see him.
Let's see if he answers it.
His wife's working from home too. It's pretty fun.
Because if I have him on the Polycom phone,
Hello,
then-
Mr. Overgaard? Hi, it's Jean Del Grosso. How are you? Calling from the courtroom? Good. Apparently there are some bench warrants you guys have to address. Yeah, yeah, sign back in, because it's still open, okay? If you have any problems, call me back on this number. All right, thanks, bye-bye.
All right, he's going to sign back in, Ms. Kelbel.
Yeah, no problem.
So what have you folks been instructed? Not to come in at all, that you'll be making all virtual appearances?
Yes, although I did not heed that advice when I'm in the office.
Oh, you're in the office, okay.
Yeah, which was probably not smart, but my laptop's broken and I didn't realize I could do it, over my phone, the video.
Right.
So here I am.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Did the courthouse get all cleaned out and everything?
Yeah, actually, the Morris County Courthouse was cleaned, and today we got an email that the Sussex County Courthouse is closed and needs to be, disinfected and cleaned.
Right.
So, yeah, there was apparently a staff member was exposed to someone who I believe was diagnosed, right? Or not?
I don't know, all I know is there was some exposure, they don't really tell us.
Okay.
Yeah, that part, since we're on Sussex.
So, yes.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Huh?
never been.
Told Don twice to wash his hands more.
Yeah, poor Don.
I've never been through anything like this.
No. True pandemic. Do we know when the courthouse might be open back up?
No,
Okay.
put it simply.
Gotcha.
I think everyone's playing it by ear.
Yeah.
Yep. Judgment calls. Hello? Yes. Oh, okay. All right. All right, well, the Sussex closure was public, right? Okay, all right. Bye.
What do you need?
Shouldn't be streaming this.
Here, it's on.
Okay. All right. Do you want to just try to call Mr. Overgarden? I can put him on the Polycom.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, why don't you give me his number?
His number again?
No, don't say it. We're streaming.
4. Hi, Mr. Overgaard. This is Judge Hanna.
Judge, how are you?
Were you having difficulty signing back in?
I just hit it. It says the meeting host will let you in soon.
Oh, all right. Let's see if we can accomplish that. Otherwise,
I think I'm back.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hang up on this call then.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. I think we're all here. Ms. Kelbel, you can hear me?
Yes, Judge.
And Mr. Overgaard is back, right?
Judge, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay. I understand there are some requests to, is it vacate bench warrants or for the issuance of bench warrants?
It's to vacate 2 bench warrants, Judge. I'm actually, Shane Overgaard on behalf of the state, I'm actually standing in for Assistant Prosecutor Elizabeth Beeman on this. I believe it's in regards to a Kosick and a Milliner. I'm trying to pull up the email now. I apologize.
Okay.
I have the
I believe orders were sent, Judge. The state has no objection to the vacating of these 2 bench warrants. We would just ask that they both be, Kosick be relisted. It's a failure to appear for sentencing. We'd ask for that to be moved to May 1st, if possible. And in regards to Milner, that was my understanding, a PTI termination and a failure to appear at a subsequent status conference. And we'd ask for May 4th if possible on that as well.
All right, let me just get I was just handed copies of the proposed order, and they're from the Public Defender's Office. Yes, the first is State of New Jersey against Gregors Koziak. The promise gavel number is 19-1223. The indictment number is 19-12-965I. All right, so with the, and Ms. Beeman did sign it with her consent. So we will schedule the sentencing. I just want to get my sentencing calendar. All right. All right. So what we will, I will schedule sentencing for May 1st. Okay. All right. And I'm signing the order now. Ms. Kelbel, that's, you have no objection, correct?
Yes, Judge Caroline Kelbel, on behalf of the Public Defender's Office, standing in for my colleague Maureen Miller. She told me that her and Ms. Beeman worked these two bench warrant to be vacated out, and that she was asking for the same May 1st date.
All right. And the other case is State of New Jersey against Crimal-Hanna. The promise gavel number is 19-541. The complaint warrant number is 2019-52-1411. And the I'm not sure, Mr. Overgard, I don't have it in front of me as to why the bench warrant was issued. There was a failure to appear at what?
So this is a PTI term. I'm just looking at the email now, Judge. This was my understanding, a PTI termination case, and then there was a status conference ordered following the termination. The defendant failed to appear for that status conference. And I believe the joint request was to move that status conference to May 4th.
All right. All right. And again, that's on the consent of, with the both offices, the public defender and the prosecutor. So I will sign the order right now, scheduling or vacating the bench warrant and scheduling the status conference for May 4th at 9 a.m. Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
That's it, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Me, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right.